Hello, everybody. Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
hello. Welcome to our party.
Welcome to the party. It's good to see all of y'all. We see some,
Oh, look at all these mostly nice people. Mostly nice. I
we
see you,
see
Peter. I see
familiar
you.
faces. It's cool. Thanks for hanging out with Karen and I and our whole Thrival team. Yeah, we got 30 minutes. This is a preview event. And so we're probably knowing Karen and I, we're not going to hit all of this content, but
We will.
we will. Okay, Karen is determining that we will.
Speak for yourself, sir.
For yourself. But the reason, thank y'all for coming. The reason we did this is because this is for an upcoming event called Rise with Thrival. That's kind of why we did this preview event. Our Thrival team and Julie's my partner. She's here. Julie and I have run this with our team for many years. It used to be called Incubator. We do work with We Are PF, so we kind of relabeled it to Rise. So what we're talking about is this 2.5-day intensive event we do. It is live, where you would travel to Greenville, and we limit it to just a few firm owners. And so there's so much that goes on in Rise that we thought it might be good to actually have this preview event, this 30-minute preview event. And so, I'm just showing you the page where all of these things are. And Karen, of course, will be there teaching. Profitable Firm is a sponsor, and there's just a lot to this event. We're going to try to touch on some of it in this preview, and that's what we're doing here. So, Karen, is there anything else to kick this off?
No, I was just going to say, loving this. Like, we have done a ton of work on understanding what Rise is, because as Jason said, it used to be called Incubator. So if you were even vaguely familiar with that or the name, part of this is to say, this is what Rise is. The name has meaning. Everything behind it has meaning. And I'm just going to strive to give you a few little golden nuggets right here in today's session. And I was going to say whether or not you come, but of course, all of you guys are keen. You came to the preview event. Why would you not come and see us? But it's not about seeing us. It's about seeing yourself. And
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a big theme for the days, is how you invest in yourself and your firm. And we just want to give you a little peek into that. And if at the end of this you have more questions, you know where the Thrival people are, you know where I am, always happy to share some thoughts.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's dive in. Jason and Karen are doing this webinar, so I think y'all know that. So what we're going to do is Rise has about 2.5 days worth of content. We go from 8:30 in the morning till 7 p.m. at night. So that's why we call it an intensive, because it's a lot. But we hit 8 key parts that really any firm, any size, really always should be learning and trying to grow in. Julie and I have run a firm for almost 25 years, so we know how hard it is. It's not easy to do. Sometimes it's a lot of fun. So what we're going to do is we've pulled just a couple of slides, and we're going to try to talk through them and see how much content we can get through. So that's what we're doing. So one of the first things we do, and you can actually see this on the very front page of Rise, is debunking myths. That's kind of the first session we go through, and there are 10 key ones we go through. Really, these first few, I've just picked 3. Karen's going to debunk a lot of myths too, but one of them is you can have it all. So one thing we teach is, no, you can't have it all. That's a myth. So a lot of strategy is in the things that you choose to do, and a lot of what you choose not to do as well. So what you see on social media is the full story. That's a crock. Is that a formal? Right. But that's the thing. When you run a firm, what we are meant to put on social media is our marketing. We're putting our best foot forward, which is what Karen teaches our firm and teaches a lot of people, is how to do marketing. But sometimes you can feel like you're doing it wrong, and you're not. we're all on a journey. We're all trying to figure it out. So this is a myth we got to debunk, that social media is not necessarily what you need to, bumping or benchmarking your firm up against. So that's something we debunk. And then what you're doing now is working. That's a myth because as you grow a firm, it does stop working over time. So a services organization has to be changed and tweaked. You got to always be changing it as you get larger, because if you get more revenue, more team, different kinds of niches, the complexity goes up. And when the complexity goes up, a lot of the ways you used to do things just don't work anymore. Marketing is very similar. So, Karen, that's our first session. I know you probably have a lot to add to the debunking myths. Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through a couple myths?
Yeah.
The ones I have. What I took from what Jason was sharing on the myths, so the 10 myths that he mentioned, let me just show these here, was that actually all of these apply to marketing as well. So when Jason showed me these, I was like, yep, fellow business owner here, totally get these.
Right.
And what we want to do is like that combo of reassure you and push you. So the reassurement is like, hey, you're not weird or bizarre in this solo little land where only you are struggling with this thing, which is why myth number 2 is just so prevailing, because we look at these people on LinkedIn that apparently do their 4 a.m. ice baths and start a new $6 million company by 2 p.m. and wrote a book by 6 p.m. using ChatGPT, by the way. And you're like, do you though? And so all of these things they affect your growth as a firm, but they affect your marketing. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of these as they apply to marketing. So the first one is... Now, I
need to show the slides, right? Where am I?
I'm sharing them.
Okay, come on. Okay, I didn't know if y'all were still seeing my slides.
You can see that AI and bots will do the marketing for you. Give me a yes. This is a lie.
Come on. Okay.
Thumbs down on that one.
Go.
So they will not do the marketing for you. They won't do it for you. And I'm the biggest fan of AI. I use it all the time. Our team uses it. I want our clients to use it. I want accountants to use it. But you got to use it in the right way. So my little tip for you on this one is treat AI like a very valued marketing team member. And if you're going to hire a team member, you're going to onboard them. You're going to tell them this is how the company works. This is how we want things. This is how we speak. This is how we don't speak. So one of the things that we're gonna talk about we're not gonna have time to do truckloads of it. We're definitely gonna talk about how to use AI in your marketing. But if you're using it as a cheat, as a skip, as a I don't have to do marketing, it is not gonna be successful. It's not. You're gonna churn out all this stuff and nobody's gonna resonate with it. Everybody now is going, is it real or is it AI? Is it real or is it AI? So you don't want people doing that with your marketing. So use AI in a way that you have trained it to sound like you and help you. So number one thing I can tell you, we did a brand assessment that we sent out to all these different accountants. And I was looking at the numbers of the things that they had in their brand. And the one thing that only 6% of these accountants that filled it in have is a fully documented brand voice. If you don't have your brand voice, this is how we talk. These are the words we use. We use contractions. We don't. We use emojis. We don't. We swear. We don't. We talk in this way. If you don't have that documented, AI is going to have a harder time. So you need to get that together. And I'll drop it into the chat, or maybe Beth, you could find it. We have a brand voice template questionnaire. It's a free vault item. You're welcome to use it. You're welcome to dig into it and start it. You're also welcome to get help. But if you're using AI to skip your marketing, then it's not going to be successful. So we're going to give you some more things at Rise. Besides that, we'll give you this sheet, but also we'll give you more stuff that will help you do that. There it is. It looks like this. So it gives you some prep and some things to do and some questions to ask. How do you want it to make people feel? That's the sort of stuff that you need to have. Okay, so the other two I want to highlight quickly are this chaos is temporary one that Jason mentioned, which applied to marketing means I'm just super busy with clients. I'll do marketing later. I'm really busy. Actually, we've had loads of new leads. We don't need to do marketing. Total lie, because you know how this goes. You put it off, then you get all the new clients onboarded, and then some of them leave or something doesn't work out and you need new clients and you're 6 months behind because you haven't been doing your marketing. So you need to be doing consistent marketing that doesn't stop. And I would say right now, more than ever, people are suspicious, they're cautious, they're spending less. You know this, you're doing this sometimes, which is totally fair. We're all in the same boat. So your marketing needs to address that straight up. You may be feeling like this. You may be worried. You may be thinking, this is more expensive than my previous accountant. How could I possibly sign this quote? I'm going to address this right now. That kind of thinking is going to help your marketing be more effective because it's addressing what people are actually worried about. And you're not saying, hi, we're accountants and we do accounting things. That's not what they need. They need somebody who actually understands that they're going through the chaos as well. So you got to have some consistent marketing that just keeps happening no matter how busy you are. So one of those is Google reviews. If you are not getting regular Google reviews, we have another resource we can give you so you can email your clients and ask for it. You can gather it from your Fathom recordings or your AI recordings. There's so much gold dust in there. But you got to have those ticking away. We'll give you some other quick things that you can be doing, but just like ticking away. Email your clients. Just email them once a month, like, hey, here's some stuff that's happening. It's a very simple thing. I almost am a big fan of old school marketing. Gather 3 of your clients together for a very small event. You know, in-person stuff is huge. So if you're doing that stuff regularly, then you don't have to stress out when you suddenly need leads, because that is the worst time to market, I'll tell you right now. People can smell the desperation. You got to have the marketing ticking away so you don't have to panic when there is some chaos. And then the final, not the final one, but the final one I'm looking at today is this, well, I'm not really a marketer, I'm an accountant. And most of you, I think, have my book. If you don't, go and buy it, The Accountant Marketer, because that's exactly what it's about. But even more importantly, pre-order my second book, which is Your Mindset. I am a creative human being. And because I'm creative and my team members are creative people, because we're humans, we can do cool marketing. Like, it literally is that manifesting stuff. You're like, we can do cool marketing, even if you don't think you can. I suppose the myth there, Jason, would be I couldn't do cool marketing. But you can.
Right. But you can.
Yeah, you can and you do. I got so many stories. I'll tell stories at Rise. So many stories. We've been talking to our clients in our community, and they're like, can we talk more to the other accountants? And I'm like, cool. So what you want out of the community is for me to talk less. And they're like, yes. Let the other accountants tell us what they're doing. Tell us examples, which I love. I'm all for it. So I'll give you lots of stories.
Very cool. Okay. All right. Now we'll hand back. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, you share.
Yeah.
You share now.
Now we'll share. Okay. So we've talked about some growth myths. That's a big part of what we're going to be doing. Is really getting ourselves into the right mindset. But there's a lot of different sessions. So, for example, we're going to hit value pricing. We talk about the difference between value pricing and billing. We've been a value pricing firm for 15 years, so just what that means. But we're also not going to beat up anybody that does bill for time, because all of these different structures of creating your money are different for every firm. And we do lean towards how valuable we are as professionals. And we change people's lives. We really do help them. All of us have been on calls with clients where they're struggling. They're worried. They need to be comforted. It's hard to put a price on things like that, right? But that's what we do. People walk into our offices really with pretty heavy needs, their businesses or some kind of family issue on tax or whatever. And that's what we do. And so value pricing just leans you towards your value. So we're going to be sharing some of these things. We're going to be doing big pricing case studies together when you come to Rise, which is a lot of fun. We're actually going to go through and price something. We're going to all kind of compare what did we get. It's a lot of fun because we're all seeing, well, how do each of us value ourselves? And this will be a great small group where we're going to really learn together as we go through it. So that's value pricing. Team structuring is a big part of what you do as you grow. These are, some foundational parts to what you do, how we institute rhythms in how we grow. Our firm's rhythms is a really big part that you'll find in my upcoming book, our Scale with Purpose, which is the Service Entrepreneur's Guide to Intentional Growth. So that book will be coming out in October. And so we talk a lot about rhythms in that book. How do we rhythmically, run our work through a services organization? We're going to totally dive into that at Rise, how vision and your core values play a really big part to your growth and kind of what those mean. Processes and team, all that's really key also. Firm business models. This is kind of the last slide we're gonna talk about. We're gonna dive into this model, the prototype components model, something we developed in our Thrival organization a number of years ago and introduced at a conference many years ago. And Julie and I use this a lot in consulting with firms. So that's a big part of what we do. So we're going to dive into this. How is service-based growth? How is it something you do in order? You have to do things in order. That's why this model, this has 10 white boxes on it called components. We're going to explain how those are really foundational to a business model in a firm. But you'll notice they have an orange circle on them. That's a number. And we build in order. So we build a firm in order. And when Julie and I consult with firms, a lot of times we find they're building out of order, a lot of times unknowingly. So for example, component 8, they're trying to build their team structure, right? I've heard I got to build a team. And it's actually component number 8, which means there are 7 components that we say are up channel from that number 8, and which means there's a lot of decisions you have or have not been making in those first 7 components that are affecting the kind of team model you get to build. It's not necessarily what you want to build. It's kind of the market you've chosen to serve. And that's why you'll see on the right-hand side of this business model is a whole market area where Karen and I both live in wholeheartedly, caring about that market, approaching that market. This is what our outreach alley is about, is really our market rhythms through all the things that Karen's going to be teaching. But, and Julie and she'll be teaching through some of this too. So y'all, that's it. The preview event, we shared I don't know, let me just show you how much we didn't share. It is, here's our actual agenda. I mean, the debunking the myths is that first session, but we've got strategy and planning, marketing as a growth system. That's Karen's. She talked a little bit about value pricing, and we're going to eat really well. So we have a lot of good Southern food in South Carolina. So good stuff. We do some group coaching breakouts. So that's really cool to hear how other people perceive things. We're going to do leadership. Karen's going to do a really cool AI related session, really just how to freaking use AI, right? Karen, do you have a couple thoughts? That's hard.
Yeah, that was something we talked a lot about, Jason and I. And as I said, it's coming up with our clients every single day, which is totally normal. AI is just part of our life now. This is not it's new. It's not new. It's just, It's like online banking and the World Wide Web. It's just how we do life. But then we're still in that early stages where it's messing up sometimes, or it isn't quite get what we thought, or we're not quite sure how to use it, or we're watching somebody else use it, again, the social media highlight reel, and we're like, oh, they created their own chat GPT and it only took them 2 days. It didn't. It took them like 9 months, and they had a lot of issues with it, and they're still figuring it out. So it's again that balance of like, how do I use it and use it well? So that AI session is specifically about using it for your marketing with live examples. Like, we'll just get one of you to say, you know what, I just do not like writing. So I have some of my clients that are like, I don't enjoy writing blog posts. I like, speaking things or recording videos or just making notes, but I don't feel very comfortable as a writer. There's some great things you can do with AI to get a good blog post or written thing, but you got to give it the right prompts. And I'm going to show you some fails too, which is always fun, where you're like, here, give me a blog post on cash flow. And you're like, wow, that's literally the most boring blog post I've ever seen in my entire life. Nobody will read it. Nobody will care. Same thing with LinkedIn posts. Like, here's my tip for you. Before you even come to Rise, never accept AI's first suggestion or ChatGPT's first suggestion. If you ask it to write you a LinkedIn post and it says, here you go, never ever say thank you, goodbye, and post it, because you know why. You know it's just going to be this conglomeration of every other thing in the world with no opinion. ChatGPT's job is to be positive and not to have an opinion. And sometimes we need to have a very strong opinion. I'm a big believer in being positive. I try not to go the negative route, but every once in a while, just for some reality, there's some things that suck, and you need to talk about those. So I'm going to give you some prompts and some things that you can do. Again, a small tip for you is when you're asking ChatGPT, and I think a lot of you do this already, but make sure that you do the act as a senior hiring recruiter who has seen many of these team members come and go and knows what works and doesn't, and review my careers page. Act as a potential applicant and tell me all the questions that you have about this role. That's like on the hiring side, but on the marketing side, act as my toughest potential client who is very suspicious of new accountants and thinks all I'm going to do is cheat them out of their money. Ask me all the questions that they would ask, and then answer those. That's going to give you the best stuff. I don't ask ChatGPT to write stuff for me anymore. I ask it to ask me questions. Ask me more questions. Act as a senior social media strategist with expertise in LinkedIn, and tell me how to make this LinkedIn post, but tell me everything that's wrong with this LinkedIn post. Now, sometimes I'm like, screw you, ChatGPT. I like my post. I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. But then you got to check the data, and we'll talk about that as well, like how you track analytics without going completely insane and, again, being overly obsessed with things like social media analytics. Doesn't matter where you're ranking. It matters if somebody related to it and got back to you.
Yeah. So. Cool. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so we have time for just one or two questions, but on the Rise page, just remember it's thrival.com/rise. It's under the events at the top, and you'll just register here. But there are places that you can get a book. This will be kind of a foundation to Rise. So it's a book I wrote. You can get that. Also, you got questions, you can hit the FAQ page, or you can talk to somebody. It is our friend Lauren Day who is on the call. If you hit this button, you will be setting up a call with Lauren, and you will like her. So you might just want to hang out with her, I don't know, and say, how's your mom doing? Stuff like that. You could do that. And then you register at the bottom. Questions. Any questions you have, or you just want to say hi to us, you can do that too.
They can be very specific questions if you wish. It doesn't have to be specific to Rise. The whole point is like,
Jimmy's got one.
Oh yes, Jimmy.
I wanted to say hi first. Hello.
Hey.
So, so will there be some unstructured ability to for input from the group on, hey, like, I'm struggling with trying to take this service and
Right here.
productize it
Yeah.
so I can sell, like stuff like that. Will I be able to
Yeah.
work
Yeah, we
through
got
some of those?
Yeah, we got some trouble. We got an area of troubleshooting barriers. So a lot of times, Julie and I, after we teach some of that, there's an area we're just going to stop and go, what are y'all dealing with?
Okay.
Let's wrestle through some real issue you have, and we put some time in there for that. We do that during the get some grub time too, when we're getting something to eat. Yeah,
Cool.
totally. That's a great question.
I was also going to say, for me, one of my biggest like helpers or motivators is like, has anyone else failed at this sort of thing? Because
Totally.
I do believe a big part of this event is at times all of us feel like a failure in an area, or sometimes just failure in general. And this is the opportunity to be like, there's nobody here who is winning at life and business in every way or failing in every way, but we have some fails. And definitely on the marketing side, I'll share some of those. I'm sure Jason and Julie will too, but we welcome all of you to be like, hey, I have a fail. Because my personal philosophy on that, and I share this with the team, when you have a fail, you have a learning. They're always connected. And as we don't like fails. There's a lot of stuff out there. It's like, welcome failure. Like utter bullshit. Like, no, fails suck. Nobody wants fails, but you have to have them. You have to. You're not going to learn to be a great skateboarder without falling. It's just not going to happen. So at least for me, I would love to see people being like, hey, I have this fail. Hey, I fell. How can I get up again? Anybody have any ideas? What can I try?
Yeah. All right. We got time for one more question. That's a good one, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us.
Anything that you would love to get, like given everything we talked about with Rise, that you're like, man, I wish I could get this for me or my firm. If you feel like sharing, it'd be cool, but even just think about it. Like,
yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
What you want to get? What you will get is a whole fresh new look at a lot of things you probably need to be approaching differently in your firm. You will hear a lot of things that will make you go, we're going to tweak that. And actually one of the first things we say at the beginning is we say, don't feel overwhelmed. You won't consume everything you hear at Rise. So it's so big. So we walk you through a process. We're going to have you summarize. There's 8 key sessions. We're going to have you summarize takeaways. And then one of our last things we're going to do is we're going to have you go through a mapping process to go, all right, what did I hear in each session? And you're going to walk away with, for you, what are the 2 to 3 things you need to work on? And then people use Rise content, the book. There's a big book that it comes with, and it's like a reference manual. You just use it. People kind of reference it over and over, year after year. So it's a lot, but you'll come away with 2 or 3 things to deal with. And I will say, if you do register, there is a PF20.
Use it.
There's a PF20.
Take it. Take the 20%.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to hear more about? It's down here. Here's my coupon.
Yes.
My PF20 coupon. Boom.
Done.
Apply. Well, I got to pick a ticket, and then apply. Boom. Takes all $450, which is kind of a big.
You're welcome.
You're
Use
welcome.
that
Thank you,
$450
Karen.
well.
Thank you, Karen.
I have a 50 if anyone needs it. Just reach out and ping me. I got a 50.
Oh, you black market
I'm
selling
joking.
our coupons?
I'm joking.
You know what? We will take them, Jimmy. Like, however you want to come. I did want to say as well, I did a lot of work with Jason and Julie on what Rise is and what we want it to be. And one of the number one things that stuck out to me was that they kept saying there isn't just one way. Like, it's not like we're going to come and be like, guys, we have this all figured out. We're going to say, here's some stuff that we failed at. Here's some stuff that you may be failing at. here's some directions that you can consider, but every single one of you is going to come away from Rise going, my path looks like this.
Yeah.
And it's totally okay if your path looks totally different, because that's the whole point. We're all unique, and so are our businesses and our firms. So just in case you're like, oh, I don't know, like it just sounds like a lot of work and there's a lot of stuff to do and be given all this, the whole point is for you to come away with what your path is. And that will be different, but that is exciting.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we're done. We want to respect your time. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
And
Sounds great, guys.
drop
Thank
us a
you.
note if you want to
All
hear
right.
more.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Beth.
More.
See y'all. Y'all take care.
Bye.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.